Hey, good morning. This is Corky here, and I wanted to weigh in on the Fender stuff because the guitar players are really tore up about it all across the world. So um, there's a few reasons why I'm going to give this rant. Uh, Number one, I'm a songwriter. I have written and recorded 100 songs of my own, self-produced. Um, Played on a number of other albums in, that were studio recorded, that I wrote. I'm a illustrator, so I have had cartoons that have been published, as magazine covers and things like that. So copyright is something I had to learn a little bit about, um, both in the old school way. We used to have to, write letters to Washington, D.C. to be able to record somebody else's song, or the new school way where you do it online. I've done both. So the second reason that I feel like I have a right to weigh in on the Fender thing is because my dad was an inventor. Uh, he had 3 patents that he signed over to the company they worked for. Uh, but being an inventor is a particular thing. And I inherited that legacy from him, so that most everything that I've been, somewhat successful at, I created myself, whether it was a music program at a healthcare center or whether it was a church in a Holiday Inn or whether it was, an after school program, music program for kids. Anytime that I created something out of nothing, I was more successful, but not financially, of course. That's a that's a different world. Um, and I think that the point of that is important in this discussion about Fender, because there is something to being an inventor or a catalyzer or a creator. And most people don't have that gift. It's a special gift that people have. Poets, composers, artists, people like that have a gift to be able to create, sculptors on down the line. So um, there's another kind of person in the world who loves to take something that someone has created and fix it or make it better. And so that's the category of people that are getting the cease and desist letters from Fender, are people who took the Stratocaster body shape, varied it just a little bit, and then produced these guitars, mass produced them, and then or hand produced them and sold them across the world and made thousands of dollars on it. Um, Another reason I feel like I'm justified to be able to weigh in on this is I was born the same year as the Fender Stratocaster, and I have played the Fender Stratocaster since 1971. So that's, what is that? 29 plus 25, 54 years I played Fender Stratocasters. And when these Strat copies started coming out by these other companies, whether you're talking about Yamaha or if you're talking about Paul Reed Smith or other ones, And I looked at the body shape. I could see, especially on that lower cutaway, they made it real small. Now, they probably got reasons for doing this that they'll say makes the guitar sound better. But I expect that they just had to find somewhere to vary it because they were going to copy the whole thing. So I'm, vitally connected to the Fender Stratocaster myself. I don't play any Strats except Fenders. And if you've got another one, a Yamaha Pacifica, or if you've got another copy of Paul Reed Smith or something like that, that's fine if you like to support that. But I like to support the original articles. Now, you may say, well, that wasn't made in America. Leo Fender didn't have anything to do with that Fender Stratocaster made, in Japan or whatever. But it's that original body shape. And you say, well, that's not the most important. Well, that's true. But why didn't you just go on and create a different body style, something that you thought of? Because when I look at these Strat copies, these are not your thoughts. This is Leo Fender's thought. And you have supposedly made it better. And you believe you made it better with the hardware, the pickups, whatever, the machine heads or whatever you think you've improved. And that's fine. But you can't claim that it's your design, because the design rights belong to the original creator. Now, the same thing is going on in the AI world today, and so this controversy is very, very pertinent to what's going on in current events with that artificial intelligence. And as an educator, it's another reason I feel like I've got a right to weigh in on it. As an educator, I have to say, when you use AI to produce a paper, it's much easier to come up with a 15-page paper using AI than it is to write with your own hand, type it out, and create the sentences, the prepositional phrases, the subject, the predicate, the thought of a paragraph, deciding what the chapters are going to be and what divides a chapter. It's much easier to do it with artificial intelligence. So it's easier, but it is not your thoughts. Not when artificial intelligence is creating the thoughts. This is what a dissertation defense does in postgraduate work. It's a sit down, face to face. Can you tell me what you wrote about? Do you know what you wrote? An oral defense, defending your thesis and defending your thoughts. Well, Leo Fender created the body shape of the Stratocaster, and some of you will nitpick me on that. But we have to believe in the gift of creativity, and we have to support it whenever possible, because there are far more people, I call them operators. They can take something and they can either improve it or organize it, but they can't create the original thing. And, originality is important, and we have to defend the right of originality. You've got to come up with the original idea, and somebody else may take that idea and develop it. Now, in the musical world, like in jazz, we have a thing called quotations, where in the middle of, say, a jazz standard, they may play a line from an artist like Wes Montgomery or Miles Davis, that's called a quotation. That's an honor thing, just like there are honor beats in Native American music. That's a different thing than what I'm talking about. It's got to be your thoughts. So I'm sorry that these companies are going to lose what they're going to lose. But you made a lot of money on a body shape that you did not create. You you took what was done and you differentiated a little bit from it. And you say, well, that's not fair. Well, there's got to be something to the original creation. Now, when we started out in rock and roll, we knew this because we wanted to write our own songs. And your first band, if you wanted to make money, you had to play what the people wanted to hear, which was somebody else's songs. So you were a cover band. If you made any money, you were a cover band first. And then as you were able to afford to do it, you would interject your songs. I'm sorry that that's true, that musicians can't be creative in their life and be able to support themselves. I'm 72 years old. All my life, I have worked in factories at night and worked other jobs to support myself doing this creative work. And I wish that I could have been paid to write songs. I wish I could have been paid to perform music. I wish I could have gotten paid to start new churches. But there's not pay for that because it's not a job that exists. There's only pay support for jobs that exist. And if you're going to be a creator, you're going to create something that doesn't exist previously. Okay, that's my rant today. Have a blessed day.